Hey, it's Asha. Welcome back to Asha Aligned TV. And listen, today I want to talk about something very troubling to me on a spiritual level. And it's that I've been hearing more and more stories lately about people dying on the job, collapsing at work, and ignoring symptoms because they feel like they can't leave. And honestly, this topic hits home for me because I quite literally just left my nighttime position early. I ended my contract early because my body was just telling me it was time. And over the last 8 months that I did night shift, I always could just do it, you know? But the last shift that I did, when I tell you I was struggling to keep my eyes open, I just felt like it was just confirmation, like you are making the right decision. So I listened to my body, I got off, and I didn't leave without securing a daytime position, of course, but I had to go and I knew it was time. And if this video compilation doesn't do anything else, I hope that it can help you to listen to your body before it's too late. And too often we're taught to just push through these symptoms of exhaustion. Oh, we'll rest later. We'll get to that later. But sometimes our bodies are saying no right now. You need to stop now. And that's what we need to listen out for. It's a very serious thing. As a nurse, I've seen firsthand what can happen to people when they ignore their mental and physical health. And as someone who recently had to make a tough decision for my own well being, these stories really helped me to stop and think. And honestly, for anyone that did pass away recently, I'm sending my condolences out to their family and their loved ones and their friends. And I hope that you all know that whatever struggles that person had in this earthly realm, they have been released and free and are at peace and are loved beyond what any of us can imagine in their next journey, their soul journey of life. So death is not death. Death is life in a new meaning. So just know that. And my condolences to everyone involved that knows someone who may have passed away. And speaking of the fact, my aunt literally just told me on the phone she had a neighbor who lived around the corner. She recently just became a nurse and she started to pick up those shifts, pick up, trying to make as much money as possible for her family. Understandable. She also was found at home unalive. And it's, I don't think I don't think we know the half of how many people are actually passing away from work and work related stress and just the stress of everyday American life, and this culture of work has even extended outside of America. So I'm sure many people can relate to this video, even if you're not living in America. So definitely comment below and let me know, are you exhausted? Do you work full time? Do you work part time? Do you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs? Like, how are you doing it? Is it time to stop? And have you been listening to your body? But let's take a look at what many people are saying about work, burnout, and the growing feeling that we are just literally working ourselves into the ground.
A 19-year-old nursing assistant in Birmingham, Alabama, collapsed and then died at work in a hospital after allegedly asking to go home because she felt sick and being denied. Jacoya Morgan was working her regular shift at Children's of Alabama in Birmingham when she felt sick and felt like something was wrong. At 4 o'clock in the morning, according to reporting by Carol Robinson at AL.com, she collapsed on the floor, and by 5 a.m. she was pronounced dead, again still at the hospital. Now, this is obviously super tragic. The family is asking questions about why she was not able to be revived at the hospital. I did want to jump in though because I'm seeing a ton of speculation and misinformation online, which her family is now having to correct about whether she was sick, what else might have been going on. And I just want to say that I am citing verified reporting from Carol Robinson. You can read her story here. You can also read a response from Children's of Alabama and a little bit of response to some of the family's complaints and concerns. The hospital said that its staff is trained to respond immediately and give life-saving measures when appropriate if somebody has an emergency on site. Carol also spoke with a local coroner who said that yes, there was sign that there was a significant medical issue going on, which possibly led to her collapsing and unfortunately dying. I'm trying really hard not to speculate here. Again, I'm only going off of what I can see in the reporting, but I just want to emphasize that this is how reporting works. It can sometimes take time for details to get out there. I totally understand why people are concerned. I also understand why lots of people are kind of picking up and asking questions about overall treatment of nurses and how this hospital operates. But as responsible reporters and journalists and professionals, we can only go off of what we know, facts on the ground at the time. So Morgan's final cause of death is still pending additional lab work. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, this is a really tragic loss for Birmingham. Her family would still like answers.
Okay, put up 5 fingers. So put a finger down if you've ever gone to work in a hospital or a clinic while you've actively been sick. Put a finger down if you've been terrified to call in sick because of management or retaliation or mandatory attendance points. Put a finger down if you've had approved paid sick time off denied because of operational needs or staffing shortages. Put a finger down if you've been guilt tripped by a supervisor who said if you don't come in, you're abandoning your team. And put a finger down if you've had 0 paid sick days, meaning that if you don't work through the pain, you don't get to pay rent. If you even have 1 finger down, then you already exactly know why the nursing community is in a state of absolute fury and grief right now over the death of Jacoya Renee Morgan. Jacoya was only 19 years old. She was a certified nursing assistant. And on May 26, 2026, she was working an overnight shift at the Children's of Alabama's Birmingham Hospital when she suffered an acute medical event, collapsed, and then died an hour later. While the official investigation into the exact medical cause of death is still pending, her death ignited a wildfire across the nursing healthcare community, and we need to talk about what it means to be sick at work and calling in sick and feeling supported when we do. My heart goes out to the family because this tragedy really has hit a massive nerve because it exposed the hypocrisy of healthcare culture. We work in institutions whose entire multi-billion-dollar mission is healing, yet the internal culture treats the actual providers as unbreakable. Study after study by organizations like the ANA and the CDC show that healthcare worker burnout is at an all-time high, with over 60% of frontline staff reporting severe chronic exhaustion. We've all done it before. Worked through high fevers, chronic illness flares, and even severe mental distress just to keep the floor running. But this is the problem. We don't take care of ourselves, and there is no blame on her fault. The blame should completely rest on the shoulders of the institution and the culture of healthcare and nursing that continues to have this type of behavior thrive. When a system relies on staff setting themselves on fire to keep the hospital warm, that system is completely broken. So when policies are structured so that a 19-year-old or a seasoned RN is too afraid or too guilted or too financially unstable to say, I'm not well enough to stand, we are no longer practicing healthcare. We are running an assembly line that consumes its own workers, and that's how it's been for a very long time. We cannot talk about patient safety without discussing staff safety. An exhausted, sick, and compromised healthcare provider cannot provide safe care. It's a danger to patients, as we've tragically seen, and it's a danger to the staff. And we need to end attendance retaliation. There are no perks to this system. And rest in peace, Jacoya. It should have never happened to you. Watching, how many fingers did you put down? I think we need to expose how deep this goes into the comments. Let's talk about how we can change this.
People are going into CNA for the money, a lot of other stuff, the aesthetic. But let me tell you something. CNA is killing people. The work is really killing people. Like, I really feel like CNA has to be the number 1 cause of death in America to healthcare workers, because what in the absolute is going on? Like, I've only been a CNA for 4 years. I cannot imagine people who have been CNA for 10, 15 years, longer than that, and like they're still doing it. Like, I'm 4 years in, and my back, the bottom of my back is killing me. Like, my feet cramping, hurting. Oh my God, management getting on my nerves. I don't understand. Like, I feel like CNA is really killing and murdering people out here.
I keep saying over and over and over and over again, these jobs care nothing about us. I don't know, have you all heard about another case where an employee fell dead on the job? Young lady by the name of Jacoya in Birmingham. This young lady worked at the hospital. She wasn't feeling well. She asked to go home. She was declined. They would not allow her to go home, and they were overstaffed. She fell dead right on the job. Do you think they tried to assist? She's at a hospital. Everyone that worked on that floor should have been able to attempt CPR on her. Do you think anybody tried to revive her? That goes to show these jobs care nothing about us. So if you ain't feeling well and you feel like you don't want to be there today, don't go. Don't be there, because guess what? You see how she just fell dead? They going to hire somebody else.
A 19-year-old CNA tragically died while at work. Shout out to APRN Beauty for bringing this story to our attention. If you want to hear the details about the story, you can go to her page. What I want to talk about is this. For nurses that are being offered these leadership positions, leadership is much more than getting away from the bedside. When you're in a leadership role, people are looking to you for direction, to know the policies, procedures, and how to respond when something unexpected happens. And if something goes wrong, your name is what's going to be attached to the decisions that were made in that moment. So nurses, be mindful. Don't take a leadership position just because it's being offered to you. You need to ask yourself, do I have the experience to lead in difficult situations? Leadership isn't just about being in charge when things go well. It's about being accountable when things do not go as planned. Before you say yes to that leadership position, make sure you fully understand that you are saying yes to a huge responsibility, not just a title.
A nursing home resident died after staff never read life-threatening lab results. Then, when the resident lost a pulse, staff decided not to perform CPR. This happened at Onondaga Center for Rehabilitation and Nursing in New York. According to a state health inspection, the resident had lab tests drawn on July 18th, 2025, so those results were so abnormal that a physician later told inspectors the resident should have been hospitalized immediately. But the lab results were never reviewed by nurses or physicians before the resident died. The resident was found unresponsive around 5:30 a.m. on July 22nd with no pulse. The resident had a medical order for life-sustaining treatment that clearly stated CPR should be attempted if they had no pulse or were not breathing. Instead, a licensed practical nurse chose not to start CPR. Investigators say that decision violated regulations because nursing homes are required to have a registered nurse or higher level clinician available at all times. Inspectors also found the resident suffered 2 falls within 24 hours, and neither fall was followed by a medical assessment. The lab results showing dangerous potassium levels were not reviewed until after the resident had already died. The facility's director of nursing reportedly knew the incident should have been reported to the state health department, but inspectors say the administrator and corporate staff advised that it should not be reported. State inspectors labeled these failures, quote, immediate jeopardy, the most serious level of violation in nursing home oversight. So from a nursing perspective, this case clearly shows multiple basic failures. Critical lab results were not reviewed, a resident's falls were not medically evaluated, and a standing order to attempt CPR was ignored. These are not complex medical decisions. These are basic standards of care.
A California nurse is now quadriplegic after suffering cardiac arrest at work, and her family says no one performed CPR for more than 7 minutes. Andrea Morris collapsed at a cancer infusion center in 2020 after telling her supervisor she didn't feel well at first. Staff reportedly believed she was having a seizure, but video shows she wasn't breathing and had no detectable pulse. Despite that, her supervisor recorded the incident on a phone instead of immediately starting CPR. Court testimony claims multiple medical professionals were present, including nurses and doctors, but no one intervened until minutes later when another nurse arrived and began chest compressions and oxygen. By then, her brain had been without oxygen too long. Morris spent months in the hospital and now requires 24-hour care costing more than $200,000 a year. Her family says they've had to sell her home and drain savings to cover expenses and are now demanding accountability while her employer denies wrongdoing and says it cannot comment due to ongoing litigation. The case is still in court as her family pushes for answers in a tragedy they say never should have happened.
An Amazon worker fell dead, and the manager ordered its employees to look away, keep working, just work around his body. Now, before I go any further, I need y'all to make sure that y'all watch this video all the way to the end. Save it. Share it with a hard worker. Everybody need to know. Stop going into these companies, breaking your back, and this is how they're going to repay you. Yes, at an Amazon warehouse in Oregon, a 46-year-old worker fell dead. And the manager said, look away. One of the workers wanted to help the person that was dying. Now, the worker had blood coming out of their head and was turning blue. And their co-worker wanted to give him CPR. Can I help this person? And the manager said, no, get back to work. Work around the body. Y'all better start taking care of y'all health, taking care of y'all mind, taking care of y'all body. Stop overworking at these jobs because they'll have you clocked out if you pass away.
Shout out to my best friend who sent me this. It's an Instagram post about a 35-year-old Microsoft engineer who died at work in Silicon Valley. And the caption is talking about how his family is warning companies about overworking employees. First off, sending all the positive things to this family, I can only imagine. I don't know them, but I definitely want to honor their loss. And I'll be real with you. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised. As a former big tech worker bee, 7 years at Amazon, 4 years at Microsoft, I most definitely saw the toll that it takes working for these companies. There was even an individual at Amazon when I was there who was put under a performance improvement plan, emailed their whole team, then jumped off a building, landed on the balcony of the building, and lived. And the fact that who knows how many individuals have even reached this point definitely tells you something. Here's the truth, right? When you're at these corporations, especially if you're making six figures or well into the six figures, they're never paying you just to do your job. They're paying you to create, to innovate, and deliver the results under nonstop pressure. And then the second you succeed, that becomes your new baseline. It's never enough. And the most dangerous part is that these places will make you feel like you're the problem, like you're not good enough, like you don't belong. And of course, this messes with people's mental health, their families, their overall sense of worth. Look, and I don't think that corporations are suddenly going to stop squeezing employees. Sometimes I think if it was legal to kill people, they might think about it. Corporations are built to maximize profit. They have to stay alive. But I don't know, this article, I just wanted to remind everybody out there, there is always a way out. If you are in a crappy mental dark space at work, you're going through it at work, remember, there is always a way out. Don't let them convince you that you're stuck or that you don't belong there, you're not good enough. You might be better than the company is actually prepared for. When you do things your way, they don't like it. Who knows? But they hired you for a reason. They wanted you there. They wanted to pay you whatever the amount of money is they're paying you. And they took money from their budget to pay you and pitch for that headcount. So they wanted you there. That wasn't an accident. And don't forget, there's always a way out.
So a coworker died at work today. And after everything was said and done, coroner came, took them away. We were all in the break room waiting for the manager to come in, and he said that it was the hardest decision he ever made, and we're going to stay open. And we did stay open. And I stood in the spot all night on my shift where this employee passed away. So my advice to you is to take that PTO. Take every goddamn vacation second you have. Fuck this place. Fuck these places. Work doesn't give a shit about you. You drop dead when you're working, they'll just kick you out of the way and keep on going. Go buy those things that you want. Go tell the people that you love them. Fuck work. They don't give a shit about you. And that's all I'm saying.
One of my coworkers passed away this week at work. And it's had me reflecting on how I'm choosing to spend my time and how much of our lives we actually end up spending at work. And me and him used to chat all the time about after, when I retire, he would say, I will do X, I'll do Y. And I wonder where I found myself getting caught up in that line of thinking, where we always think that tomorrow is promised and that we're going to have some sort of control over the way that things unfold, and we truly just don't. I imagine he didn't want to spend his last day at work. He passed away on his lunch break. And I've been doing a lot of philosophical reading and stuff like that. And I've also just been questioning, how am I using my time? Am I doing the things that I truly want to do? I think a lot of us have that. While I'm just here to get to the next step, I'm just here to pass the time and, build myself up so that I can XYZ as a stepping stone almost. And when he passed away, I was closing a deal. I work in sales. We sell cars at a car dealership. He had spent the majority of his life at a car dealership working 50, 60 hours a week. And guys from that generation, they really embrace grind culture and no, you got to put in the hours and come in on your days off. And I'm the opposite. I'm fuck that. I will not be coming in on my day off, because I realized that time is all we ever have is right now, is this moment. And it really hit me like a truck when he passed away, because I was in the middle of a deal and he was upstairs and paramedics were in the building and everything, and it was just tragic. It was just horrible. And to be working through that, it's almost like it didn't even matter. Life just goes on, business just goes on. It's we spend so much of our time at work that it really makes you question, am I spending my time wisely? And it's not even just time, it's our attention. It's what am I paying attention to? What am I choosing to focus on? And I'm sure he came into that day not thinking he had much more time. He was about to retire. We used to have chats. I used to love just picking up small talk with him, and he was always a super kind, very, very sweet gentleman. And it just made me really sad, super sad that he was that age and still working. And makes me think, I don't particularly love this job. I didn't envision myself working in this type of sales or anything like that, but I'm doing it, because I tell myself I'm just trying to get to the next step and learn and do that, which is fine. But I guess you just really have to evaluate. So I guess the moral of the story is, don't die working. Take your days off. Take your PTO. Find something that you can actually pour into and that gives you a level of satisfaction, because I feel like not just me, but so many of us are working jobs that we're just kind of tolerating, that we're just kind of getting by from. And not to say that, everybody can do their dream job or passion. That's not the real world, but you have to find some bits or pieces that you find enjoyable, because if not, this life can take you whenever, and it really opens up your eyes. Am I doing what I want? Am I actually spending my time and my attention focusing on what I want to spend my life and attention on? Because if not, it can so easily be taken from you. And it was just, it really opened my eyes and it made me think, and I'm shit, am I doing this the way I want to? Because so much of it's not just our time, it's our attention. What are we choosing to pay attention to?
Real quick, before we continue, I just want to say thank you. I just crossed over 500 subscribers, which is mind-blowing to me. And I just want to say, listen, I want to keep this going. So definitely share this video, like this video, comment below your thoughts on the video. And if you enjoy conversations like this about life, about work, about wellness and alignment, definitely hit subscribe, because I am just getting started. Okay. And you guys are giving me the motivation. I'm okay, people like it. So it lets me know that what I'm doing matters, and to keep going and to keep these conversations flowing. So thank you guys. Make sure you share and like and hit subscribe and leave your comment, please. I definitely do interact, okay? Let's keep watching.
His name was Ron, and he was my friend. He had worked 33 years at this company, and he died on a Tuesday. He collapsed in his driveway on the way to work. Heart failure is what they said. Too many years of stress and not enough years of rest. He was supposed to retire in 6 months, y'all. Ron was a guy who never said no. He was always the first in and the last to leave. He missed every anniversary and missed every birthday. You really should have been there, Dad. The day after he died, they brought in a sheet cake from Publix. They poured warm soda into red cups. They called it a celebration of life. By Friday, somebody else was already in Ron's chair. The emails didn't stop. The meetings didn't get moved. The company didn't even pause, not even for a breath. In fact, half of the department couldn't go to his funeral because the company said we can't have that many people out at one time. Because that cake, that pop, that sad little break room moment, that was never for Ron. That was for them. A quick performance, a corporate dance, pretending you're not just another replaceable part. Ron gave him everything, y'all. They couldn't even give him a full moment of silence. And now, he's 6 feet under. You think you matter? You think loyalty really means something? To a corporation? Ron thought that too. Don't wait until it takes you out before you realize that the ladder doesn't really lead upward. It leads away. Away from life, away from love, away from yourself.
According to a Euclid police report, Daquan Machan told others he was not feeling well and later passed out at his workstation at the Amazon Fulfillment Center on Babbitt Road. This grieving mother and her family want answers they say they're not getting from retail giant Amazon.
They say my son, he fell and he collapsed, but he was bleeding from the brain and everything. He died. And I haven't had any answers. I haven't heard from Amazon. Amazon refused to speak to me. I couldn't even see the footage. I would have to get a lawyer. I want to know what happened to my son, and I cannot have closure if I don't have that.
Daquan Machan went to work at an Amazon fulfillment center in Euclid, Ohio, and never came home. He was only 39 years old. According to reports, he told others he was not feeling well before he collapsed at his workstation. First responders arrived, found him unresponsive, and he was taken to the hospital. Now his family is left asking what happened. Amazon says it is cooperating with authorities and offered counseling to employees, but the family is stating that Amazon refuses to speak with them or provide them with video footage of that day. When did he say he felt sick? Who hurt him? How fast did help come? Was he taken seriously before it was too late? A man died on shift while working for one of the richest companies in the world. His family deserves more than community sympathy. They deserve answers and accountability.
This is why you don't work more than you can handle. So this woman who was 40 years old, her name is Quita Cole, worked 7 days a week, overworked and burnt out, and she took a nap and never woke up after saying this. She said, "I'm taking the next 3 days off. Quita needs rest."
Imagine going to work. Imagine going to work and dying at your job and not being found for 4 days. And of all places, this being a big corporation. This woman went to work, 60 years old. She went to work in Wells Fargo, not at the front of the bank, but on the third floor, like in the cubicles, on a Friday, the 16th, I believe they said it was. And her body was not found until that Tuesday, the 20th. Everybody needs to be fired. Security needs to be fired. Janitors need to be fired. Management needs to be fired. Everybody that works around her cubicle needs to be fired. You mean to tell me you didn't smell the body? They didn't start to suspect something until they did smell something on that Tuesday. But 4 days. I just don't even understand how the family didn't make reports, like nothing was looked into. That's a whole other situation. But imagine being dead at your desk for 4 days and no one noticing it. That's how much these jobs give a fuck about you.
So I got home from work the other day and I laid down on the floor and I literally just thought I was gonna die. And my husband, in his wonderful, loving voice, says, "Why are you so tired? You've been sitting at a desk for 8 to 10 hours. I don't get it." Not everybody will understand this, but the amount of mental exhaustion that goes into the day, back-to-back meeting, phone calls, navigating personalities, weaving through being gaslit in every different direction. And if you ask me to do one thing or make a decision, I'm gonna lose my mind. Am I right?
I am sitting here, it is 3 p.m. on a Monday, and I am trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, because I've been burned out at work for quite a long time now. It's interesting because I started working in corporate America back in 2015, and I remember my very first day at my job. I remember how stressful and overwhelming it was, and I remember coming home and thinking to myself, like, how am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Like, this is just what people do. And that feeling hasn't changed much, and I haven't answered that question. I'm sitting here 11 years later wondering the same thing. Over time, just seems to get worse and worse. I mean, our government is actively finding ways every single day to just beat us into the ground more and more so that we have absolutely no energy to make anything better for ourselves. I guess I just want to say, if you're also feeling this way, you're not alone, and you're not weird for having those feelings. You're not crazy for feeling burned out at work. You're not lazy. You're reacting normally to a very inhumane way of making people live, period.
Let me say this before you give your job another stressful week. Your job will replace you in a heartbeat, but the burnout, the anxiety, and the stress, that'll stay with you. A lot of people are walking into work every week already drained, overworked, and overwhelmed. You're mentally checked out, but guess what? You're still showing up. And the mistake people make is thinking, if I just push through one more time, if I just get through this week, it'll get better. But guess what, people? It doesn't. Because you're not fixing the problem. You're just adjusting to it. Answering emails late at night. Taking on more than you should. And we know we've all been there. Saying yes when you're already stretched to the max. And then to top it off, your leader is not worth a darn. And slowly your mental health starts taking a hit. Your patience gets shorter. Your energy drops. You're no good for yourself, and let's not mention anybody else. And you're not even feeling like yourself anymore. But here's my HR tip. If you want to protect your mental health, you have to start setting boundaries early, log off on time, don't normalize constant stress, and stop treating urgencies like everything is an emergency. Say yes to yourself sometimes. It's okay to do that. And if all else fails, perhaps you should start looking. Because if you don't protect your mental health, your job will take what you're willing to give every single time.
It's the job. It's not you. It's the job. The fact that you always feel tired, irritated, a little sad for no reason, it's the job. Because when you're outside enjoying the weather, eating some good food, hanging out with people that you love, reading the book that you love, doing the things that you love, you see how happy you be? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, sometimes it's not your mindset. It's not that, oh, you're stuck or you just negative. No, it's the job. It's the job. And there's no amount of coffee, self-care Sunday that's going to fix that. Sometimes it's just the environment. It's the job.
I hate my job. I am literally crying at my desk 3 to 4 days out of the week. I feel guilty to speak about the fact that it's a great job, but no matter how good of a job it is not my purpose. It's not. And if you are a purpose-driven person with dreams and there's something that you want to do with your life, it does not matter where you sit if you know for sure that seat does not belong to you. And I am tired of crying at this desk. I'm tired of feeling anxiety. I'm tired of feeling like I'm so unhappy, And I was talking to my therapist the other day and she's like, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I want to teach women how to love themselves more. I want to show up for other moms and other women. I want to do monthly meetups. I want to do events. I want to travel. I want to, have this huge community that is growing, that's all about women showing up for themselves, and all the things, And she was like, so why don't you create a company? And I promise you, I started crying because I have a company. It's called Her Glow. And I've done the brunches and I've done the meetups, but Her Glow is not taking care of my bills. You know what I'm saying? And it can. I got to figure out what amount of money is going to help me leave my full-time job. And I'm tired of allowing fear to keep me stuck. I am deciding in this moment that I am going to be very shameless about plugging my dreams and my purpose and sharing it. And I am going to truly buy myself out of this misery. I owe that to myself. I owe it to the woman that I used to be. I owe it to the woman that I'm becoming. And I'm proud of myself already. And if you can relate to what I'm talking about, if you're at a job and you feel like, damn, I am not really living in my purpose, I'm hoping this is a sign for you to do what you know you're called to do, what God has placed on your heart. Because I'm telling you, when you get to the end of your life, you are going to have so much regret. you're going to feel like, damn, it was so many things I needed to do and I didn't do them, you know? So hopefully this is your sign to keep going, because I am.
I'm so burnt out from work that even on the weekends, I do not feel like I am resting. And that's the thing. I take vacations. Like, I have weekends off. It's not like I'm working like 24 hours a day or anything like that. Like, I have my off time. But it's not a matter of like physical exhaustion. It's like mental exhaustion. So even if I have like time off and I'm just like resting, I'm like at home or whatever, I still feel like I'm not resting. So does anybody have any ideas for what to do about burnout? Because your girl is so burnt out that she's burnt to a crisp.
I quit my job because I can't take care of my basic needs and work 40 hours a week at the same time. It's really hard to say this out loud and put it online, but I know that I'm not the only person going through this. I've almost been fired from every job that I've ever had, and it's not because I'm not smart. I actually tend to overperform in the beginning. It's just that after some time, I inevitably burn out once I wake up one day and realize that I haven't taken a shower in like 3 weeks. It's really frustrating because I know that I'm an intelligent person and I've been able to accomplish a lot of really amazing things in my life, but I still can't manage to take care of myself. And it's not just a matter of not trying hard enough or not being disciplined. If I could take care of my basic needs and work full time, I would have fucking done that by now and then some. It's a form of self-sabotage.
One thing I've never been able to understand is how people will literally brag about working like 80, 90, 100 hours a week. Like, that's the fucking goal. It's like, I feel like it would be a completely different story if we were actually getting something out of our labor, but it kind of feels like you're flushing your life down the toilet, you're not getting anything out of it, and you're working your life away. It's like, are you going to be proud of yourself and all of the time that you wasted when you start to get up there in age? And I find it to be borderline insane how the people like me and whoever's watching this video, whoever resonates with my content, how we are always the crazy ones for not wanting to fall in line with this, for wanting to do other things with our lives, for wanting to feel like we have another purpose in this world other than to be exploited and spend our entire lives at work. It might be a completely different story if we were actually working towards things like the previous generations were, if we were actually able to pay our bills, but it's kind of like a scenario now where you can work 2, 3, 4 jobs and that's barely paying your bills. And it's insane how people think that being exploited is something to be proud of, and it's not.
I got a job offer and I want to take it.
Oh, good for you.
I just feel really bad. I know you have so much on your plate and I don't want to add to that at all.
Bad. This is fantastic. If it's something you want to do, don't feel bad, because I had a feeling it was coming.
Okay, I just feel...
Brittany, you crying at them people's job? Well, I done told y'all about that. I don't give a damn what they doing, what they saying, how they acting, what type of vibe you get when you interact. You walk in with your head held high, have some confidence, be firm, be believing in yourself, and don't let them people treat you any kind of way. Now, you want to cry, you go outside to your car and you cry in the car. Do you hear me? Say yes. Do not let them people know that they are defeating you in this way. Don't let them know that the work environment is getting to you mentally. Don't let them know that you are so frustrated that it is bringing you to tears. Don't ever let them know it. Don't ever let them see it. Okay? And when you go into work tomorrow or Monday, you need to change your mindset. Change it now. Good morning. How y'all doing? I don't care how delusional you gotta be. You better find every ounce of delusion. DM me. If you got a problem with these people and they pissing you off, Brandy, they getting on my damn nerves, I'm mad as hell, and I don't care. But do not let them see you sad. Let them see you upset. Let them see you defeated in any way. Do you hear me? Have a good day.
This is your daily reminder that that job do not give a fuck about you. They don't care if you're sick, dying, or depressed. They will replace you in a heartbeat. So please, if you are financially able, make sure you take time off for yourself and your mental health. I know not everyone has the luxury to do so, but please, if you can make time for yourself, do that. Because your health and your well-being is more important than any corporation that literally does not give two shits about you. Okay?
Losing your job is easily the best thing that can happen to you, okay? And it sounds weird. I know it does, but let me explain.
I don't think we realize sometimes how much work takes our energy and takes so much of our life. I know we often joke about it, like we spend so much time at work and we sacrifice so much of ourselves to being at work. And while we would like to think that, you know, I'm not working, I'm not living to work, I'm working to live. I think that's the saying, essentially meaning that, you know, we're only doing this so we can make income and be able to do the other things that we want to do. We cannot dismiss that we spend so much time and so much energy, and there's such a huge commitment to being at that job. I can't describe the feeling of leaving somewhere that is so toxic. I can't describe the feeling of like not waking up with a pit in my stomach, not waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning feeling like I forgot something, not being anxious on Sunday because I'm going to start work on Monday, going to work and forgetting to eat, going to work and dreading the people that I'm going to see. If you are in that situation, take it from someone that got an autoimmune, and to me, I think it was largely stress-induced, among other things, of course, stress being a big component of it because of the job that I was in. Leave that job. Now, I know the economy sucks, and I'm not telling you to leave without a plan, and I do want to acknowledge if you have been searching and there's nothing, I can't imagine what you're feeling. But for the people who are like, I'm just gonna thug it out, I'm just gonna sit in it because it is a well-paying job, you know, I get to work from anywhere in the world, it's taking a larger toll on you than you think. Do what you can to leave. It is not worth the sacrifice. It is not worth the internal turmoil. It is not worth your health.
Once a job starts affecting you spiritually, that's how you know it's time to go.
Is your job making you sick? Because mine sure did. I'm going to tell you something. I started off as a very healthy individual, only to be beat down for like 10 years out of my 20-year career. And when I mean by beat down, I mean just treated in the worst way. And I'm a fairly strong person. And I usually don't let anybody talk down to me or do anything to me. But every person that is watching this video, you already understand that when your check is tied to you getting along with people and you just going along with the flow, that is what I did for so many years until I realized that it wasn't worth it. You see, I had developed anxiety, depression, and PTSD based on the chronic stress of being beat down and dealing with workplace bullying and mobbing each and every day. And I'm telling you guys, it's not worth it, because if you drop dead today, best believe they are filling your position tomorrow. So I went from this vibrant person who loved their job and was very health conscious and everything to just waking up and just dreading my day. And when you wake up and dread your day, you already know you are in the wrong space. You're in the wrong head space, you're in the wrong energy space, and then you go into an environment that just compounds that. And a lot of these employers that are allowing toxic work environments, they know this. They know exactly what they're doing. And what you guys may not realize, but I've done my research and me in my healing journey, because it took me about 2 years to get to where I am today, where I can talk to you. And these stories, I think I probably have about 200 and something videos on my YouTube channel. That's not even scratching the surface of my experiences. Again, you guys, I went through this for like 10 years, and thank God I have been away from that toxic work environment for a little bit over 5 years. So I want to be the example of what not to do. When you get the nudges from God, divine, universe, whomever, this is a non-denominational channel here. So please don't come at me with the Bible verses. There's different people that watch this channel. We are all about workplace bullying, abuse, and mobbing. I'm strictly talking about where you get your your strength from, okay? Where your faith is. Wherever you have to plug into, that's what I had to do to finally get myself out of this rut. Because you guys, I was having nightmares. I gained like 45 pounds. I was drinking more than I would ever thought I would drink. I was popping a pill just to go to work. And you guys, the whole situation, it just went from 0 to 100. And I don't even know where I lost myself, but I lost myself in just trying to do the work, trying to be the best employee that I could be, only for me not to be appreciated. So I want you guys to put your health first, because health is wealth, and so is your time. And time is something that you can't get back. Your energy, you can't get that back either. And so if you have something to give, make sure that you're giving it to places and people that appreciate you.
Just some food for thought here, but you should really consider breaking up with your job mentally before it forces you to physically. And no, I'm not saying that you should quit your job tomorrow. But what I'm saying is some of us are emotionally dependent on a paycheck when that paycheck could disappear overnight. And I know that that's scary, but we're living in a time where organizations, it doesn't matter what type of organization it is, they will replace you in a heartbeat without hesitation. Meanwhile, you're giving them your energy, your time, your mental health. You miss your kids' events. You don't attend ceremonies. You have to ask for permission to attend a graduation. And you're doing all of that for a paycheck that barely gives you room to even breathe.
This lady says she will never feel bad about where she's at in life because we're doing all this shit just to die. And that single-handedly cured my anxiety. That literally just changed my life. She ate with that, baby. You ate.
These jobs are literally killing us. Let's get into it. So a new report from the International Labor Organization says that more than 840,000 people die every single year from health problems linked to stressful work conditions. We're talking about long hours, job insecurity, bullying on the job, and crazy high demands with very little control. Now, these things that people deal with on the job can lead to heart disease, stroke, and even suicide. The ILO says that this is a global crisis that's just hiding in plain sight. So what kind of jobs are contributing to these deaths? Now, it could be a role with zero flexibility, constant monitoring, or unfair treatment, or it could be a workplace where harassment is ignored or where workers feel that they could be fired at any moment. Now, the report explains that when jobs are poorly designed or managed, they don't just burn people out, they literally shorten people's lives. Now, when everything is said and done, these conditions steal nearly 45 million healthy years of life from workers around the world each year. And the crazy thing is that people dying due to work stress messes up the economy too, because duh, the ILO estimates that the damage from these job-related risks eats up about 1.37% of global GDP every single year. That's trillions of dollars lost because workers are sick, disabled, or dying too soon. But the good news is that the report says most of this is preventable. Fixing the root causes like crazy workloads, unclear job roles, and lack of support can literally save lives. Look, we all know that we work and we work and we work, and sometimes that can take a toll on us. But just imagine for a moment if we actually worked at a place that treated us like human beings and not just cogs in a wheel. It would literally extend our lives.
I had a coworker die last week, and her entire existence at the company was summed up in one email. And then they turned around and reallocated all of her work. And I understand the show must go on, but this really solidifies for me that a work-life balance is important. Once you die, no one at the company will grieve you. Your family and friends, they will grieve you. It is important to have a work-life balance. Spend your time with your family and friends.
Don't kill yourself for no job. You are a person whose life matters, and that is easy to forget in this thoughtless world. You are killing yourself for a job that would replace you in a second if you drop dead. Take care of yourself. You are more than a job.
America is a work until you die country. I just had a conversation with an individual because I'm looking for jobs, and this individual had my resume, and they were asking me, what is this gap here from this month to this month? That's when I was traveling, right? That's when I was actually experiencing life. So I took about 6 months and I traveled the year of 2025, and I told them this, right? I elaborated, and they go, interesting. And then when they were kind of reading back to me what I had said, they described it as a hiatus. I didn't really know. I've heard the word. I didn't really know the exact definition. I Google it. So it's a break or a pause in something, right? That's the loose definition. Can you explain to me how stepping away from the matrix, from the system, from this god-awful corporate nonsense country that we live in, to actually experience real life for just like 6 months out of my 27 years, they describe it as a hiatus, a break or pause in what? in what? Being an employee, being a worker ant? Like, that's how they view it. They view like doing real life things as hiatuses, as a break or a pause from the real timeline. These individuals are twisted. It's not their fault per se, but they're grown adults that are just so warped because of the system that they grew up in and could never figure it out, that this is wrong, this is unhuman, this is bizarre. Like, that's bizarre. You're bizarre. I'm not bizarre. I'm trying to be healthier. You're bizarre.
We must be absolutely mental, if not completely brainwashed, to go to work every day. Like, why are we doing this? If you think about anything you buy right now will be, in 100 years from now, will be trash. Your car will be in the junkyard. The car you worked so hard to get and you're so proud of, it's going to just be in a junkyard. No one's really going to remember who you are or who you were. Your great-great-grandkids, they probably won't even know who you are, probably won't know your name. They won't give a shit about who you are. All the working, what is it for? It's just complete brainwashing. I don't know. I just worked 30 days straight. No, I'm not crying. For 12 to 17 hours a day. Work my ass off. For what? For a business I'm growing, which I'm proud of. But also, why do we have to work so hard to get the littlest things that are all just going to be garbage one day? So this is your sign. Take that vacation. Go to Disney. That's it. Just don't work so much. Don't work so much. I don't know. Have an awesome day.
Watching these stories is absolutely heartbreaking. Let me know what you guys think. I feel that somewhere along the lines, productivity definitely became more important than human beings. And one thing is for sure, one thing is certain. Your job will replace you. The shift will continue. Sometimes even if you're there deceased on the floor, as we saw, which is awful, but the shift will continue. If not within that same hour, the very next day at minimum. And life will go on without you. But there is only one you. There's only one life. And you have to do what brings you joy. You have to listen to your body when it's time to slow down or leave an environment. And I'm calling you into alignment in this very moment. What are you aligned with? If you've been ignoring what your body is trying to tell you, let this be a strong reminder to stop. Rest when needed. Get evaluated if something feels off. Take your health concerns serious because no one else will except for you. And remember, success means very little if you have to sacrifice your health to get it. And one of my spiritual mentors always would say, there is no such thing as a good job that you hate. And I agree with that. And a good job that's running you into the ground and your health is being depleted. And he also would say, we stay at the job for the healthcare when it's the job that's making us sick. Now, tell me if y'all don't agree with that, because I definitely can relate to that. I really feel like if I didn't work, I really wouldn't need healthcare outside of, women's health, dentist, and the yearly checkup. I mean, whoo. The stress, the anxiety pills, the high blood pressure pills, it's all contributed to our stress at work. And you know what? I think it's a good time right now to work on our assertiveness at work because it's necessary. So instead of going to your manager or the charge or your boss and saying, may I please go home, sir? Please, may I please go home? No, we're going to say, I am leaving in the next hour because I'm not feeling well. Due to health reasons, I will be leaving this shift early. I don't feel well enough to stay here and work, and for health reasons, I will be leaving. I'm giving you a heads up that I'll be leaving in the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'm giving you a heads up that I'll be leaving in the next hour. I'm giving you a heads up that I'll be leaving in the next 2 hours, whatever you want, whatever leeway you want to give them so that they can find coverage, or even if you need to leave immediately. I am leaving within the next 20 minutes. I have to go. I'm not feeling well. Period. I'm unable to work safely. I'll be leaving shortly. I'm unable to work safely. I will be leaving shortly. There's nothing unclear about that. This girl is leaving. You're not asking permission. You're not begging or pleading. You are taking control of your life. If they need to let you go, it's all good. Please know, money is infinite. Job opportunities are infinite. I know the workforce is not the greatest, but you will find another pay. You will find another way. And if you believe in your heart, if you have faith, you know that your faith, your belief, God will not leave you out. God will not leave you stranded, but it is your duty to take care of your body the way you see fit, because these employers will not do that for you. So we have to be assertive. And notice the difference. May I leave versus I'll be leaving shortly. I'm not feeling well. There is no room for questioning. There is no back and forth. There is a definite, I've made a decision for my body and my health, and you have to co-sign it, because this is what will be happening. Period. I know for nurses it's a little bit more complicated, especially if you took on a shift, things like that. But hey, sometime it has to be like that. Not judging anybody, but it's time for us to be more assertive. I say, as a nurse, if you are not feeling well, do not come. As a nurse or whoever you are, if you are not feeling well, especially in medicine though, if you're not feeling well, do not come to work, because no one cares. No one cares that you have a headache. No one cares that you have a fever. No one cares that you have a sore throat. If you don't come to work, do not come, because no one cares. And that's why whenever I'm sick and not feeling well, guess who's in the bed? Me. Okay? Me, because I cannot work like that. And you should not work like that. And it's time for us to be assertive in what we need. Okay? But nonetheless, I love to hear your comment on this video. Do you think work culture has gone too far? Has it gone too far for you? Do you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions? How many hours a week do you work? Do you feel stressed? Did you recently quit your job? Do you feel free? I want to know. We need to keep talking about these things so that we can bring awareness. And as always, stay aligned with what feels right for your body, your minds, and your soul. See you in the next video.